This is Prime News. I'm Michael Alano. Sorry, let's get to our breaking news. Sad news. Investigators say DNA testing has confirmed a body buried along a river in southeastern Michigan is that of little Nevaeh Buchanan. The 5-year-old disappeared last month while riding her scooter outside her apartment complex. So now we know it's her. Joining me now to talk about this, welcome back HLN law enforcement analyst Mike Brooks. He's been on this since day one. Also with us, Dr. Daniel Spitz, a forensic pathologist and medical examiner. And joining us as well, family law attorney Vicki Ziegler. Mike, let's start with you. Again, you've been on this since day one. It's our worst fears confirmed, and really no surprise that it's little Nevaeh.
No, not really. The clothing description, the body type, her size, her age, all matched her. We kind of knew it, but we wanted to make sure that it was her through DNA, and the medical examiner said today that in fact it was her.
Yeah, let's bring in medical examiner Dr. Daniel Spitz. How difficult was this, you think, doctor, when you're talking about a body that was in water and also encased in cement?
Well, to do a DNA sample on that type of specimen really isn't difficult at all. The reason it takes so long under normal circumstances is just because the testing gets pushed back because of the backlog that all the crime labs have. But because of the urgency of this case to confirm the identity, it went right to the top of the pile, and they got an identification within a couple of days.
Okay, let's talk about getting DNA off of the crime scene, off of Nevaeh, the cement, anything in there. How difficult is that going to be? Again, considering the body was in water and in cement.
Well, it can be very difficult because decomposition is going to hinder the ability to sometimes be conclusive in regards to the cause of death. It really depends on the findings. I've heard that there are no gunshot wounds or stab wounds or blunt force trauma, so you're left with a variety of types of asphyxiation, which are much more difficult to determine. So it may end up being an undetermined cause of death, even though we know that this is a homicide.
Mm-hmm. So doctor, what are you hoping for then? You're hoping for some DNA from whoever did this. Will it be still on Nevaeh's body or on that crime scene, or does the water wash it away?
Well, it can wash it away. Certainly, the circumstances here are going to make it difficult, but it seems like there is some evidence with the body that can be linked back potentially to a particular person or persons. So every piece of evidence on or near that body is going to be analyzed and to determine who can be linked to this little girl's death.
Mm-hmm. Mike, one thing you and I were just talking about it, a beer can found, I believe, under little Nevaeh's body. How important? I mean, number one, what a horrific thing, what a lack of respect to have a beer can.
It's sick.
It is sick. But could it be something that's used to get some DNA?
You know, Mike, it could be a treasure trove, as a matter of fact, because the body was just off the water. It was just a few feet from the water in a shallow grave, and apparently this beer can was either right next to the body or under the body. Now, you can get all kinds of things from fingerprint evidence, trace evidence, as well as DNA.
Let's ask Dr. Daniel Spitz, how valuable could that beer can be, doctor?
Well, it could be, as Mike Brooks says, it could be the answer to the case, or at least a big clue to the case. It also could mean nothing. It may be unrelated to the case. So it has to be handled with the greatest of care so that nothing is lost from the beer can. It may turn out to be critical. It may turn out not to be.
Okay, let's take a phone call. I know a lot of our viewers have followed this so closely. Bev in New York. Hi, Bev. Your comment or question?
Yeah, hi, Mike. I have a comment.
Yeah.
Or a question. Okay, the mother to this little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I feel she should be charged for child neglect. You let some guy into your house for a date that you know is wanted for child molesting and stuff. She needs to be held accountable for this. And my comment is, you know what? I have a daughter that's 42, and when she goes away with her girlfriends for the weekend, I worry about her. So it doesn't matter the age or the sex. You still worry, but this mother needs to be held accountable.
Well, let's bring in our attorney, Vicki Ziegler. Vicki, a lot of people wonder, that is one of the questions, how could the mom, Jennifer Buchanan, allow a sex offender, two of them really, but especially George Kennedy, into their midst, knowing that this guy, part of his parole, he was not supposed to be around a woman who even had children?
Yeah, Mike, I mean, definitely this woman is certainly guilty of poor judgment and poor parenting skills. But, of course, we don't know the gist of the investigation as it relates to the mother at this point. I know she's stating that she's innocent. Certainly, I think the police will be continuing to investigate whether or not there were child endangerment, a situation that she actually broke the law as it relates to that. I mean, certainly mothers don't allow sex offenders to come into their home and and spend time with a young child at any age, quite frankly. I think it was very irresponsible what she's done, and I guess at the end of the day, we really need to determine, once the evidence is gathered, whether it's direct or circumstantial evidence, who actually did this heinous crime, who abducted this child and murdered this child. So I think your caller has a very valid point, and I think the police certainly are investigating that lead.
Is it, to clarify that though, could child neglect for allowing the sex offender in, is that a crime?
Well, it depends. Child endangerment, perhaps if she left a known convicted sex offender with her child alone, certainly could cause some real concerns and perhaps potentially break the law in Michigan.
Okay.
And she knew, Mike, that,
yeah.
that this guy was a convicted sex offender.
You're right. They met at the parole office because mom,
Exactly.
Jennifer Buchanan, was there because she was charged with breaking into houses. We'll continue this conversation. We'll welcome in our criminal profiler, Pat Brown, in just a moment and take more of your phone calls. The number 1-877-TEL-HLN.
I still feel that the mother should be charged with either child neglect or child endangerment, even if she didn't know the sex offenders. Just not taking care of your child should be a reason to charge her.